Hello, divine beings. It's Saint M3F Day. They, them pronouns. Welcome to another one, the Other Side podcast. How are you doing? How are you feeling? And I'm actually going to wait for you to respond. I heard some good, some some I see, some so-sos. Okay. Thank you for engaging with me and offering that into this space as a check in with your being, with your emotions and your feelings. So, today we're going to be talking about chronic fatigue. And as always, I'm going to open up this space first, setting the intention I'm a clear, pure channel of the highest light, love, truth, and wisdom for the collective today. That as you exist in energetic space with me, you may receive any clarity, guidance, vibrational support, and assistance you may need on your journey back home to your true self and source. I want to thank my spiritual team for helping me remain in energetic integrity and sovereignty. Also setting the intention that I'm not absorbing any of y'all's energies, because while I love y'all, your energy is your energy and my energy is mine. Isa. I am channeling pure source energy, so if you choose to accept, simply say yes in your heart or no at any time. You are always at choice. Always. Alrighty. I'm going to share the story first, and then we're going to get into what's going on with the collective regarding chronic fatigue. I have, in the past, I experienced long bouts of chronic fatigue for different reasons, but not always, but I was often feeling very, very tired. Now, if you've been following me, you know that I have healed myself fully and completely from over 15 plus chronic illnesses and conditions where trauma was the root, the traumatic experiences, and I've completed a rapid ascension journey that has lasted 4 years into the fullest and freest expression of my being in unity with Source and my higher self. I'm going to talk about, I'm being brought to share this story about this job I had. So I was working, I got out of grad school with my master's in public health. And I got a really good, by society standpoint, job because I was making six figures. And when you reach that point where you're making money, and I was raised in relative poverty, y'all. So that was more money than both of my parents combined made. And I thought I made it. I was like, yo, I made it. Especially because I didn't become a medical doctor. So I was feeling good, sitting on some laurels, got the degree, got the job, got the career. It's all panned out. And I was absolutely miserable. It was like I can't do this anymore. So miserable. So we all know what happened in 2020 with the pandemic. But, if you're listening to this, you're also spiritual because I'm a spiritual person. So if you're listening to this, you're not spiritual, welcome. I invite you to expand your mind with me. 2020 was a call for many starseeds, light workers, earth angels to awaken. It was a call for folks to remember who they are because of this shift in earth consciousness. The planet shifting completely to the fifth dimension required that we seed as much light, as much high vibrational energies to assist that transition for the earth and as well for the human collective and all of the collectives on earth. So with that shift, what was happening and occurring was people were starting to get the call to awaken, and many got the call and didn't answer. Some got the call and moved forward and didn't make it to the finish line for whatever reason and stopped, and some got the call and completed. their process. So wherever you are, just know that you got about like 2 more years, 1.5. But the Earth's gonna shift regardless, and I'm not gonna give you any time frames because time is relative. It's all relative. It's all happening at the same time, but it's not too late. The point being that a call went out, and that meant that everything that was not aligned to the truth of your being or your soul, this was like a mass global awakening, y'all. Mass global remembrance of who you are was being brought to the surface. And so for me, it was my job. It was the job I was in. It got to the point, y'all, where had a panic attack because I was late on delivering some, I forget what it was at the time, but it was some deliverable for my team. And I was talking to the manager, and after I got off the call with the manager, like the world just went dizzy on me, and it was just literally fell, and I started to just shake rapidly, and I felt like I was dying. It was not fun, and I was crying, and I just felt like my world was crashing down because I felt so much pressure and expectation at that job to do well, and it was so unnecessary because these high pressure and work environments is not that's not how it's we're not meant to live or work that way. And in the consulting world, it's very much a toxic masculine dominant culture, toxic white dominant culture. And they like to work you to the bone, where 40 hours a week is more like 60, and people like weirdly brag about it. It's so strange. I don't know. It's not that's not how it's meant to be. And so I got really, really ill and chronically fatigued on top of all the other stuff going on in the world. And I was doing a lot of collective transmutes because of all the folks dying and all the unprocessed grief and all the unprocessed hurt that was going on in the collective consciousness that was not being adequately addressed by the systems and structures that be. And I was doing a lot of that work with the collective subconscious. So I was doing that, but not conscious of it at the time, like I know now. But also very, very much miserable and chronically fatigued. And I knew I needed to get out. I knew I needed to move forward, but there was this part of me that was like, I put so much work and effort into this. What am I gonna do? I built myself up to this level of this status and blah blah blah, and it didn't really matter. It got so miserable. I got so miserable doing that, and that job that I just had to get out. Like the movie, Get Out. Exactly. So I made a decision. I was like, I'm going to follow my heart and what I'm being guided to do, and that is to quit this job and do something else. And I did, and I ended up moving to a nonprofit. And so that is all to say that the root at that time, a lot of the root of the chronic fatigue was immense energetic fatigue. As I was being guided to move forward into the fullness and freest version of myself, but there were so many energies at that time that were conflicting within me around moving forward and how to move forward. And so it was revealed to me that the chronic fatigue that's going on in the collective right now is this mishmash. Part of it's a mishmash of energies where, you've lived a certain way for so long. You've developed a certain identity, a certain status, a certain lens and view of life. And now you're being guided through your awakening, your ascension process, your healing journey, to embody a truer version of yourself, to embody the truth of you. And so on an energetic level, it's like having these opposites. One's pulling you that way, the other's pulling you the other way. And if you are fighting it, if you're saying, well, no, I got to do this because I'm expected, and duty and responsibility, and all of that is very toxic masculine energy, because your first duty and responsibility is always to your source within. It is always to your higher self. Your higher self always knows best, in the ways in which it guides you to the embodiment, for the embodiment of your truest self and your best self, so that you can live your best life. Many of us want to live our dream lives. Many of us want to experience that person, place, thing, situation, but are you willing to let go of what is not aligned? or are you holding on? Because when you hold on to something that's not aligned, you're creating resistance on an energetic level. And so now you have your energies fighting. You have your, not fighting, you have your energies colliding in a way causing extreme resistant buildup within you. And then you wonder why you're so tired, you know? And I say that because I've been there. And I know how it feels to be pulled in one direction, but then have to really reconcile and have to grieve. Like, okay, I thought this other thing, this other, whatever it is, person, place, thing, situation, experience, object is what I wanted, but I'm being guided in this way. And it's not making sense over there. It ain't making sense. Sometimes it's not going to make sense until you walk the path and journey to clarity. But you have all the information you're meant to have to move forward. You have to trust that there is within you that intelligence, that intuition from your higher self that is always guiding you and always looking, not looking forward, but assisting you on your path to embodiment of your highest true self. Now, of course, you know, one can experience chronic fatigue from being in jobs, situation, life experiences where you're working all the time, you're doing so much, you're overextending yourself, right? Which means you're overextending your life force energy, and thus you are not able to replenish and fill your life force. If you're constantly giving out your life force and you're not taking care of yourself, you're not able to take care of yourself, or you're choosing not to take care of yourself for some of y'all because of this idea of masculine honor. Like a badge of honor of like, I roughed and toughed it. Well, you don't have to. You can take care of yourself. You give yourself permission to love on yourself, to do that face mask, to get that massage, to do that manicure, pedicure. Your human vessel is as divine as any other part of you, including your heart, your mind. So, and it wasn't until I decided to just continue to take steps forward as best as I can, imperfectly as I could at the time, that pressure began to release, that I began to feel less chronically fatigued. Because when you are living in purpose, which means if you are in the embodiment of your etheric blueprints, which is it's associated with your throat chakra, Om Satya Om. Tuning the throat chakra. Your throat chakra is associated with the truth, living, speaking truth. This is where your etheric blueprints are held. And the blueprints are the ones you are meant to live through. So when you are living in purpose, on purpose, you are energized by the energies of joy, right? A feeling aligned, a feeling like everything's right. So those energies energize you. And thus you aren't depleted, right? Again, if you're going through a spiritual ascension process, that process is tiring. It can be tiring. Let me not say it is always. It can also be energizing, depending on where you're at. But it is energetically raising. Literally, your cells are vibrating and vibrating at levels they have not vibrated before in this lifetime. That process can be tiring. So, but for the collective, this is more so in work and this idea of expectations and what you should do and should not do, and not honoring your truth. Not honoring your truth. The moment you begin to honor that resistance can release on an energetic level. It's not like you have two energies butting against themselves. Because you know what happens when you're intuitively guided to move in one direction and you're not trying to? The resistance increases till boom, it explodes. And the energy of the, because this is your higher self, like trying to pull you, your higher self is like, go right. You're like, no, I'm going left. That's left. You're like, no, that's right. And it creates such that tension that it creates an explosion. And when we call it a tower moment, where things start to just fall apart. And you're like, why are things falling apart? Well, you probably weren't listening to your intuition for a really long time. And to get your attention, everything that was not aligned had to go because of that. So I'm going to offer that to you, that to really look into your life and see where you are guided. And for some of you, it's trusting your intuition. And I'm here to tell you, if you trust source, right? The source of all, the source in everything, that means you can trust yourself because you are source. So I trust myself. I trust my intuition and instincts. I trust my divine guidance. I trust that everything is working out for me perfectly, with ease and grace, in the most wondrous of ways. I trust that it is safe to trust. I trust that it's safe to have faith. And do you know what faith means? Faith is not just some like, oh yeah, faith. Faith is complete trust and confidence. To have faith in yourself, to have faith in source, that everything is happening for your highest good, even if things look terrible, even if things don't make sense, that you are eternally, unconditionally loved and guided. It's faith. Sometimes your intuition will guide you to and through situations where you're like, that was not pleasant. But it's akin to driving on a road, and you see a separate path that looks a bit like covered over with branches and stuff. You're not really sure where that leads, but you're feeling like you should drive down it. But to drive down it, you have to clear some stuff out the way. Some people decide to just continue on the path, but little do they know that if they just take an effort to just clear some of that stuff away, it's going to take some initial effort, that path was actually the main path that they were meant to be on, which would lead them to a beautiful, more beautiful future. So, tapping me in to the collective regarding this chronic fatigue, I got it all. When you're resisting, some of you are being meant to embody a role of the in-between, the liminal space, where you can be at 0 point. 0 point is where source and everything lies, and you think of like an 8, the infinity symbol. 0 point is that point in between, the point in between polarity, the point in between this and that. It is being able to have full access, full awareness of all, including it all. And so to be at that point is the place of the high priest, high priestess. That is the positionality that they hold. For they know that all is source, and all is merely expressions of source being, and is meant to, these polarities, the dualities are meant to be used as a tool to understand the greater experience of this illusionary realm. So with that, I'm going to offer a chronic fatigue collective transmute through quantum sound, setting the intention that as I do so, it will help you determine your specific root of chronic fatigue in your life, to make it very clear, to give an energy boost with slight adrenaline increase. We don't want too much, to bring that root cause to the conscious awareness of your being. I'm also being guided to tell you that, when you have unprocessed trauma, unprocessed traumatic experiences, the emotional toll, the energetic toll of those past experiences can also make a person feel exhausted because it's unprocessed, so it's there, taking up energy, being fed by your energy. So things like emotional stress, energetic stress can take a toll on physical health. and create things like insomnia, fatigue, lethargy, muscle aches, compromised immune system, muscle aches, all this other stuff. So, ding, ding, ding. I'm hearing a ding, ding, ding. A light went off for some of y'all. Unprocessed past experiences. If you're someone who just simply, I call this toxic positivity, where you don't allow yourself to feel so-called lower density emotions because you're just meant to be positive and happy all the time. Well, look, you're a human, and until you fully process and purify those lower density energies, you're going to feel them, and it's okay. But if you experience something, you don't allow yourself to really feel it. Where is it going to go? Energy cannot be created or destroyed, so it stays. Until you are able to process and or recycle. You can release it or you can recycle it. So the emotional toll of the past experiences, if you're holding on to pain, to hurt, to resentment, to anger, these are all creating stress within your body. And this energetic stress creates chronic fatigue. So really sit with that. Some of y'all have emotions that need to be delved into, that you've been running away from because of what? Some of y'all like, no, we don't need you to go there. We don't have to reveal us like that. Fear of being drowned in emotion. Well, I'm here to tell you, as someone who's done a lot of drowning in emotion, think of it as a wave. The wave will wash over you and you will be wet, and it might be difficult to swim, but eventually the wave goes away. Your energy within you, that is, for some of you, that is needing to be delved into, needs to move through or to be shifted and recycled. So that's alchemy, energy. If you're able to alchemize energy, then being able to dive into the emotion and to see what's there and to shift it is something you can do. But you gotta dive in. You can't just look at your waters and be like, well, I know that their waters are there and I'm looking at them. Pretty waters, very, very pretty. But I don't know about going in it. Well, I'm here to tell you that if you don't, what it's like, how do you expect things to change if you're not willing and able to address your emotions? Then that emotional energetic stress will not be able to be fully expressed in the way that it needs to, so that your body can have a rest and you won't feel this chronic fatigue and all the other host of symptoms physically that revolve around that experience. So your emotional toll, past experience, emotional stress, which honestly at the end of the day is energy that is in your sacral chakra, which is associated with your emotional body. If you have a mind that runs a lot of thoughts and there are energies, then it's all connected, y'all. It doesn't matter if it's in your sacral chakra or your emotional body, if it's in your physical body. If it's in one part of your body, it's going to express other areas of your subtle energy bodies. So there's no separation. They're all the same, but differentiating layers of your being. So I just want to say that going back to the transmute, this is going to determine the root. Bring that root to the conscious awareness. Give that energy boost. Slight adrenaline increase. It's slight. I'm not trying to get you stressed out because your body's not like, oh my gosh, I'm wired. No. If you're drinking coffee, you might want to cool it. Caffeine right now, you might want to cool it. Shifting the energy consciousness of stress to peace. Soothing adrenal glands from burnout. Decreasing cortisol levels in the body. Tuning your nervous system to a state of calm and relaxation. And then I'm also going to be calling in an herbal elixir of peppermint, rosemary, which help create an activating effect. It helps you, feel a little bit woken up a little. Cordyceps mushrooms, which again is another natural stimulant, slight. And then licorice, ashwagandha, and maca, which help really stress and anxiety, Maccas also helps with immune system. And so I'm going to seal this with unconditional love and peace, as well as an infusion of crystalline golden healing light. I will put this in the, what do you call the description for folks? Okay. And we'll say that when I really got to the root of what I was going through, which was a lot of different things, y'all. I just gave y'all one example, which was my job and my work. But, I was also transmuting the collective consciousness emotional pain from the pandemic. So once I was able to move through that, I felt so much better. Alrighty. Give me a second. I'm sending y'all in the meantime love. Unconditional love. This isn't to say, I know you're doing what you can, and I know that you have within you to listen and follow your intuition and trust yourself to move forward in the ways that you're being guided to. There we go. So this is the Chronic Fatigue Collective Transmute and Digital Energy Medicine through Quantum Sound Alchemy. Dum-dum. Dum 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 dum. dum 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 dum. Yeah 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 na. Dum 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 dum. Dum dum dee yo ake aye 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 na olo e ya ki ana tie hae na tie no kono e ki e na e na tie no kono e aye ya 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 e ya e ya 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 e ya e ya 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 e ya e ya 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 Ie no mono e a ki e na ya kolo e a. Tie ya kolo e a e. Shh. Ala na tie ya ka e a e a ya. Ie yo no e a ya kono e a. Ie ya na tie ya kolo a e a e a e a e. Ie yo kolo e anati e ya ka e a e a e a e a e a e a e a e kolo e anati e e e e ki e no lo wa e ka e anati e yo no wa ana ana a e a ie o a e a e a yo 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 kolo e a ya ka e a e a e a na ya 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 yeah, oh, yeah, 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 oh, no, yeah, 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 no, yeah, 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 yeah. Kie kono e a kie a ya kalaye na kie na aye na tie kolo e a kie na ye ke ya kolo e a tie na ya. All right, y'all. That is the end of the quantum sound alchemy session. Please drink some water. And as this root comes to your energetic awareness, your conscious awareness, know that it is for you to do something about. Now that you know what they say, when you know better, you gotta do better. Otherwise, you won't be better. I send you off with so much love. Wherever, whenever you are, celebrate yourself for making it this far. Take care deeply. May you go in peace.